institution as tragic as the Negro Boys Industrial School. We know that many of the boys who were placed there were placed for reasons that really didn't have anything to do with juvenile delinquency. Some of them were homeless, and it was a result of the poverty and misery that so many African American families experienced, even as they were struggling to make a living over in Thai plant. And so, but it's more than that. At some point, we have to come to terms ourselves with what our religious traditions have done in the way of coming to terms with race relations, our political institutions, our legal institutions. This is a book that I'm trying to write to encompass all of that, and it's not an easy book to write. Certainly, you know, my own background, and I've shared this before, is that my family at one point owned slaves in Memphis. My parents were members of the Dixiecrat Party and voted for Strom Thurmond to take the whites out of the National Democratic Party to a white supremacist party. Of course, that didn't happen, but all of that has been part of my past. Growing up in Mariana, in Lee County, I was in a minstrel in 1962. I look back on that with embarrassment and shame, and memory being what it is, I had told myself, well, that everybody in our senior class play had to be in that minstrel. And I look back at the yearbook, and there is my picture in the yearbook with 17 other people. So, you know, it's hard to come to terms with all of this. But I think it's absolutely essential that we do it. And that's why I'm trying to make this book more than just a straight political history and just say, well, that's the way it was. I'm trying to come to terms with my own past and trying to talk about other institutions that have been part of this whole tragic history.
Question, I'm not native in Arkansas, but I'm pleased we're finally beginning to write about this issue truthfully and responsibly. My question is it being addressed in the same manner in the education system, in our schools and other things for future, so that future generations are learning of these issues and don't make mistakes?
Just absolutely delighted you asked that, because I've left out part of one of the really neat things that it is happening. I was the first D. Brown Fellow at the Central Arkansas Library System 4 years ago, and then received a grant from the Darrah Foundation to continue, but the largest grant that we got while I was at the library was from the Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation. And what it did was allow me and 3 other staff members at that point at the library to really try to make this an educational project as well. And so one of the books I wrote while I was at the library, at the Central Arkansas Library, was a book called Race Relations in the Natural State, which is really, we hope, and it has been approved by the Arkansas Department of Education. And it is basically a textbook for middle school and people up through high school. And it is really a smaller version of Rule by Race. It doesn't have all the footnotes, but it is written in a way, I hope, that will appeal to children and to librarians and to teachers. And since it's been approved by the Arkansas Department of Education, it can be used as a part of the curriculum and not cost anything. One of the things we did in that period, though, was to write lesson plans and to go around the state and talk to anybody about this book, Race Relations in the Natural State, and our kind of mantra was, we have to face it to fix it. And so the answer is that, yeah, we have tried to do that. And frankly, I view this grant from the Laman Library as really a continuation of that project. And I'm going to make myself available anytime Jeff wants me to be available here to talk to anybody about our past. So thank you for asking that question.
Any other questions? If not, we'll turn it back to Jamie.
Thank you again, Grif. We really appreciate it. You know, it's just like a writer to give us a quote, even in a venue like this, that is just so inspiring, that a writer's duty is to tell the truth. And we at Laman Library are absolutely thrilled and honored to be a part of that truth-telling that's going to come from your newest work, and we can't wait to read it and put it on our shelves. So, thanks everyone for coming. For the members of the press, you'll notice in the press release there's a link to the digital version of the press kit, and we'll podcast this later in the afternoon in case you need to get some more quotes or just want to watch it again. So, any questions, feel free to contact me or give me a call. And thank you all for coming.